all you.
Well, obviously, we want to welcome you all. And let's see, 1960, and now it's 2020. So that is 10, 20, yeah, it's 60 years. And I think we each were about 18 at time of graduation. So that now makes us, let's see, 8. Oh my God. Anyways, at our 50th class reunion, I did a couple old people jokes, and I do not plan on repeating that because I no longer find them funny. For example, you know you're getting old when you get that one candle on the cake. It's like, see if you can blow this out. Now that's not funny. Or two elderly women were eating breakfast in a restaurant. One morning, Ethel noticed something funny about Mabel's ear, and she said, "Mabel, do you know you got a suppository in your ear, left ear?" And Mabel answered, "I have a suppository." She pulled it out and stared at it. And then she said, "Ethel, I'm glad you saw this thing. Now I know where my hearing aid is." Now that's not funny at all. So anyways, the other thing I wanted to say is the coronavirus. And in some ways, I'd like to say we were dealt a lemonade or a lemon and we turned it into lemonade. Maybe it's a blessing in disguise because many of us maybe couldn't have be in person for a reunion. And here we are all together on virtual reality. Thank God for technology. So there's some plus. And next year we'll all get together, God willing. Anyways, as Larry said, they're going to have that first selfie and we split it in two. Then we're going into the trivia game finals and then the second half of the selfies. So go ahead, Larry, turn her on.
Okay, and when you turn your volume on, make sure your volume is on, and the selfie should begin in about right now. Greetings, classmates of the HHS class of 1960. It's hard to believe that it was 60 years ago that we walked across the stage in the auditorium to pick up our diplomas as the first graduating class of a brand new Herkimer High School senior high school building. For most of us, that was the culmination of at least 4 years together, playing, working, partying, and being a part of a family we call the Herkimer High Class of 1960. Indeed, many of us had been friends since our early years together in kindergarten. We were not going to let the pandemic stand in the way of celebrating our 60th reunion, and so we meet now virtually instead of physically. And the enthusiasm we've witnessed during the planning and during our so-called practice sessions has been overwhelming. These were, without a doubt, the most memorable days of my life. And as I pile through the multitude of pictures and souvenirs of those years, it seems as though it was just yesterday that we were all together in Herkimer. Each of us have our own personal memories, and each of us has enjoyed diverse and interesting lives that Herkimer High prepared us for. As we celebrate this milestone of our class, we thought it would be fun to have many of you share those memories and experiences with the rest of us. And so we have compiled this video book of memories. So sit back and enjoy the memories of Herkimer High's class of 1960.
Sunday, Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days. Thursday, Friday, happy days. The weekend comes, my cycle hums, ready to race to you. These days are all happy and free. These days are all, share them with me. Goodbye, gray sky, hello blue.
Hi, I'm Elaine Pettykovich-Burrell. Did you recognize the music from the 1960s series, Happy Days? The show was reminiscent of a simpler, gentler time that we lived in. My Herkimer High School days, for me, were happy days. Not sure if we had a Fonzie, but our cool Jim Minash certainly could have played his part. Dick Collins, maybe Richie Cunningham, whose character was all heart. And the role of Ralph, well, to me, Ed Gilbert always had us laughing. A funny story that I remember, I was working with a team putting together a song for Mike O'Brien, who was running for student council president. Larry Golden came up with the idea of taping the song and then slowing it down so it sounded like we were the popular Chipmunks. After playing the song on the high school's loudspeaker, I heard Frank Gabler say, if those kids put that much effort into their studies, they would all be A students. I'm so happy to have shared those happy days with you and our classmates that are no longer with us. And I'd like to give a special thank you to our Herkimer High School Reunion Committee for stepping up to the new era of visual communications and making this reunion possible for all of us.
Hello, class of 1960. Robert the Bruce, first king of Scotland. Nope, actually, Robert the Bruce from Herkimer High School. Going to take a minute or so here to tell you about my little story. I love sports. I played baseball. Actually, if we didn't have coronavirus this year, I'd probably be playing baseball with our local senior team. Anyway, remember a time in 1960, I think it was, we were playing Oneonta. If you remember anything about Oneonta, they beat us in just about every damn thing we played them in. Anyway, this was a beautiful day playing in Oneonta, and we were on the wrong end of a no-hitter, probably midway through the game. Anyway, Oneonta had a couple celebrities. They had a kid by the name of Constanti. His dad was a Major League Baseball player, won the National League MVP crown with the Phillies in 1950. They also had a kid by the name of Larry Santos. He played either third base or first base. He was a rock star, had his own band, wrote music, actually wrote Candyman for the Four Seasons. Anyway, they were beating us pretty bad, and I happened to swing late, get on first base. And if you know anything about baseball, they're always trying to pick the guy off first base. Well, I was there, and I was the guy being punished because every time that ball came over, they just slapped the hell out of me. And I still remember that today. I think I still got the black glue marks from it. Anyway, just want to comment, we had our own two celebrities, a couple of them anyway. We had Gas House King that was on our team. We had Per O'Brien, so we weren't the only team with celebrities. Anyway, happy 60th to all you guys and girls from class of 60. It was wonderful, good time to grow up. Goodbye.
Sometimes you find people in strange places. I caught up with Gary King while he was in his farm field haying in Montana. We had a wonderful conversation.
Well, I got a farm out here in Montana, and I lease out all the land to my neighbor, and so we got a bunch of hay ground, and as part of the deal, after it's cut and put in these big bales, I take the tractor out and I pick them up and put them in nice, neat rows so they can bring a big tractor trailer out and load them and take them to market.
Can you remember any particular event that really sticks out in your mind?
Well, you know, I've been thinking about that, and there were a lot of great times, a lot of great classmates. Obviously, we put a lot of time behind the football program and sports, and where we could beat it. That stuck with me the rest of my life because it showed what teamwork could do. We never went into an Ilion game as the favorite. And so that was that. But really, the thing that I remember about Herkimer High School is how lucky I was to be born in Herkimer, New York. And I didn't have any choice in that. Didn't have any choice in my parents. But I grew up in Herkimer with you and the rest of my classmates, and it couldn't have been a more perfect American upbringing than Herkimer, New York, back in the 50s and early 60s, but mostly during our formative years. The parents were great. They were all working. The town looked great, and it was just perfect.
If you had to pick one memory that really
Well,
has stayed with you for the rest of your life.
of course, the sports, especially football. These characters that were in there with me in the locker room were the funniest guys. They all could have went on and become comedians. They're so sharp, funny, witty. And then we weren't that great of a football team, but just beating Ilion 7-0 in the Mud Bowl in my senior year was the highlight. I'm sure you're going to hear that from Gary King and Bukowski and all these other guys. Would you believe I enjoyed getting tackled and all the guys piling on with all these pads we had on? It was like, it didn't matter. It just felt like love. Nobody came out of that high school like we were. We were like the last of the greatest generation, I guess. But that's what I remember about the kids, just not having no prejudice, friendly to everybody, helpful, and intelligent, friendly, kind, just everything you'd want in classmates. And that's it. What I'm thankful for is being from Herkimer High. It's unbelievable. Small class, and everybody just had a lot of love for each other. Amen. As you find out, the best years of your life, you hear that, but it really is the best years of your life. Student council, athletics, and the great teachers, you know, really cared about you and knew how to teach.
Nick, what did you do when you were working? What was your field?
I got into what we call electromechanical packaging engineering. Would you believe? Zappia would have, he would have gone crazy to know that I got into engineering, because him and I used to go at it in math all the time. But yeah, in the Silicon Valley for 35 years, worked my way up into engineering, and made some money, and then the market took it, so we got out of town, and still we're doing fine.
Hi there, this is Carolyn Springer talking to you now. It's been so much fun being part of the Zoom committee for our 60th virtual high school reunion. I remember Herkimer High School fondly. We had some great teachers who truly cared for us. They inspired me to become a teacher. And I was a biology teacher, high school biology teacher for quite a few years. Ended my career the last 5 years teaching advanced placement biology in Elgin, Illinois. And it was one of the great joys of my teaching career. Although I didn't join our class until 8th grade, I certainly had fun looking at your first grade photo of your class. I recognized most of you, and it was so cute. Right now, I'm making this selfie from our log cabin in Maine. It's August 26th. The sun is shining brightly. It's windy, and it is very chilly. I don't think I'm going to go swimming today. Bill and I live in Barrington Hills, Illinois, and we lived there for most of our married life. We raised our son Billy and daughter Allison there, and they went through the school system, a very good school system in Barrington. Unfortunately, we lost our son Billy to a tragic car accident, but he will be in our hearts forever. Our daughter Allison has been a great joy to us for all of her 45 years. And she was here a few weeks ago, and we really had fun with her and her partner and his 2 teenage children. It was really a great time. I certainly hope that we can get together in 2021 for a real reunion, but this is sure to be fun. So let's all gather together.
Hi everyone, Claudio Shaldo from Chantilly, Virginia, which is about 22 miles west of Washington, D.C. My wife and I are both retired, and we spend as much time as possible visiting and vacationing with our 3 daughters and grandkids who live in Denver, Austin, and Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Last summer, my family, along with my brother and sister and their families, took a trip to Italy. There we visited the town of Rocca Romana, which is the town my grandparents on the Shadow side came from. We met our cousins there who still live there, had a great time with them. They showed us around, and we learned a great deal about the area my grandparents grew up in. Then we also went to Rome, Sorrento, and Tuscany, and of course enjoyed the great food and wine of Italy. We were very fortunate that we planned a trip for last year and not this year, because obviously we would have never made it. I also volunteer driving seniors and others who need assistance to their medical appointments and to the local food bank, which the number using the food bank during COVID has just increased by quadrupled. There are a lot of people using it. So I want to thank the committee members who arranged and set up this virtual reunion. They did a great job, well done. So ciao everyone, and hopefully next year we'll meet in Herkimer.
Hi, Janet. Can you tell me the one thing that you'll never forget from high school?
One thing I can never forget is I have Judy Grubner, Judy Enya, Sandy Robertson, and myself skipped school one day. And my mother happened to be in the hospital. Well, we walked by the hospital, and she saw us all going past the hospital. And Sandy changed her mind because she had skipped the day before, so she went back and passed by the hospital. So my mother only saw her going back. So she called my father and said something's going on, and go up to the house and check. So he came up, and I heard the car pull up, and I said, "Quick, hide!" And I ran and hid in the closet, and the 2 Judys got under the bed, and he comes running through the house. He says, "Where are you? Where are you?" And he came into the bedroom, and he pulled back the sliding door, and he starts hollering at me. And I'm thinking about the 2 girls under the bed, and I'm kind of trying to keep a straight face. And he says, "Who else is here?" So with that, Judy Grubner crawls out from under the bed, and he starts lecturing her and me together, and we're looking at each other because Judy is still under the bed. And all of a sudden he says, "Who else is here?"
Okay.
Okay, Judy in here crawls out from under the bed, and she looks at my father and says, "Hi, Mr. Degler." And my dad said, "You guys got to all go back to school." And he made us go back to see Mr. Degler and confess what we did. And we got a huge lecture from him.
Janet, can you tell me what you're most grateful for?
My faith.
And
my faith has sustained me through so much. And I've been blessed.
And who gave you that faith?
My grandmother.
Oh.
Hi everyone, it's Julia Enea Morose. I'm just here to say I miss all of you. I can't wait for us to be together again and telling our stories, some good, some not so good. But they're all good, wonderful memories.
What's your favorite?
My favorite memory, I think, was when we all, and I want to say skipped school together and tried to lie our way out of it. And our parents knew and accepted it. Sure, we got grounded, but it was for a good cause. And I just can't wait to see everybody.
What are you thankful for?
And I'm thankful to have been raised where I was, among the people I'm with, or was with, and for all of you, and my children, and my grandchildren, and for everything. I just thank God.
My memory of high school, one of them is being in HMS Pinafore, and it was a wonderful experience. I have a picture here, I hope it's not too shiny, of the cast as we were taking our last bow, but what a fun time that was. As for my family, Tom and I are in a second marriage, so he has 3 children, so do I, so we have 6 children and 5 grandchildren. As for jobs, after Oswego graduation, I went to Bethesda, Maryland to teach 4th grade. After that, I raised my children. After that, I became HR manager for GE and then GTE. I've loved all my jobs. They've been just wonderful. The biggest blessing that I've had is that I became a born-again Christian in 1973, and that has just been a huge blessing in my life. Many of you may remember that I had a younger brother, Tommy, 3 years younger. He lives 30 minutes from us, and he has bone cancer now, and I certainly would appreciate any prayers for his health, and I would thank you for that. And I just want to say hi to the whole class of 1960. Thanks. Bye. One of my fondest memories of Herkimer High School is when the French and Spanish Club went to Florida, came to Florida, and one of the places we stayed was the Flagler Hotel. At the Flagler Hotel, they had overbooked, so 4 of the girls, got to stay in the honeymoon suite, which was gold. So anyway, and now I just feel so great that every time I just drive downtown, I go by and I look for the honeymoon suite.
I just want to say hello to everybody in the class. You certainly were a wonderful group, and I enjoyed having you. I hope you've had a great time in all the years that have gone by since we were together. And now I hope all of you can have a great time tonight. I think all thanks should go to Larry for designing this program.
We're back again. And we can unmute, you can unmute your, well, actually, yeah, you can unmute your mic.
Larry, were you getting a little bit of background noise through some of those?
Yes.
Yeah, I was. That's why I sent out a message to make sure everybody was muted.
Yeah, everyone was muted. I didn't get any reverberation. I kept on getting gray boxes on the screen. Did anybody get gray boxes?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Were they big boxes or just little boxes?
Very. Sometimes they were big, sometimes they were small. They kept on sliding over onto the picture.
Okay, so I'm gonna keep
Keep your hands off your computer.
No, I think what's happening is that when I am sharing my screen and then I pull up a picture of the people watching, that must put a gray screen over the area. So I won't do that on the second half. I'll just watch with everyone else.
Larry, if you keep on doing it, I can pull up the second one if you want, you know, and see if that works any differently.
Yep. Well, we'll do that. Yeah, at that point. Okay. So moving on.
Trivia.
Now, should we all mute ourselves and accept the people that are in trivia?
Yeah. Well, let's wait until the announcement of who's in trivia. One second.
All right.
We have an announcement.
All right. Well, this is Carolyn speaking again. I hope you all enjoyed your trip.
Oh, sorry, Carolyn. You're okay now.
Okay. All right. So we wanted to let you know how we decided on those 25 questions that were in the contest. The reunion committee actually came up with 73 questions, which of course is way too much. You would have gotten really bored doing that. So what we did was we pared them down to the 25, and we did that by voting on them. Everyone on the committee picked the 25 they wanted, and the ones that had the most votes ended up on SurveyMonkey. Thank you so much for giving it a try, and now it's time to reveal the 3 finalists, and I'm so glad that the 3 finalists actually are on the screen, actually joined us tonight. So congratulations to Kathy Brennan Trimboli, Connie Warkowski-Engert, and Billy Tomasco. Here, Larry is now going to lead the trivia finals for the class of 1960. In a minute.
Unmute, Larry. Larry, unmute.
Okay. And I'm going to share the screen right now. And this is, can everyone hear me? Well, I assume they can. Because I'm not seeing, I can't see who's on the screen.
Fine.
What's that?
I can hear you.
Okay. When I do that, incidentally, does that put a gray box on the screen?
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, right now. There's a
Okay, so I'm going to just get rid of that. Okay. So here's the story. We have the trivia, the finalists. Yes. Someone say something?
I think we're okay.
Okay. The trivia finals will consist of 10 questions. The 10 questions are each multiple choice questions, 4 choices in each question. For those of us who loved multiple choice quizzes when we were in high school. The way this works is that I am going to, we have 3 finalists, and we're going to let the first of the 3 answer the first question. If that person gets the question wrong, then the second person gets to answer the same question with only three remaining choices available. And if the second person gets it wrong, then the third person gets to answer. The way it is scored is this: if it's your question, and you're, in other words, the first one on that question, and you get it right, you get 100 points. If it then passes on to the second person, then that person gets it right, they get 75 points because they only had 3 choices. And if they miss it and it goes on to the third person, that person gets 50 points. At the end of so then once we finish the first question, we get on to the second question. And the second question will be the second person in line, even though that may have been the person that that the first question was passed off to. So that each person should get it, should go down up to 10 different questions. Are the we have Connie and Billy, and who was our third one? You're gonna see it in a second. We're gonna see it right now. So this question is first tackled by Billy. Can you hear me, Bill? Is Billy unmuted?
He's got to unmute himself. All three of them need to unmute themselves. Kathy?
Billy, Kathy, and Connie have to unmute yourself. Billy? Is there any way you can unmute everybody?
No, you can't.
Oh, well, let me go back to the first question. Billy, can you hear me? Can you send a text to Billy?
Yep. Is it Stephen? Is it Stephen?
Must be. I assume he was on.
Yeah, he was. Let's see. But I don't see him on here. That's the thing. I'm scrolling through everybody. Oh, there he is. I see him. Okay.
Billy.
I've told him to unmute. Okay, he's
I'm gonna hold up Steve Tomasco.
Yes. He's unmuted.
Okay, you on?
Yes,
Did you
I
hear the
am.
rule? Okay, and you see the first question?
Yes.
And which is your option?
D.
A little bit of a help there. So you get 100 points. Next question.
What's the name of the
This
store?
goes to Kathy. Kathy, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, I do now remember the store. I remember the store, not the name.
I say B.
B?
B.
There you go. Did we miss a question?
Genesis.
No? Okay. Okay, the next one is Connie.
I can't see or do
Here it is.
anything.
Okay, here's
since
the question. Who were the co-captains of the Herkimer Magician football team?
King and Bukowski.
Wait, who's not muted? Stop. If you're not muted, Nick, stop talking.
I wish I could see everybody. All of a sudden, all I can see is me.
Well, read her
on my
the options,
screen.
Larry.
What?
So-
The options are A is Tom Dewan and Chuck Miller. B is Gary King and George Bukowski. C is Louis Casella and Richard Collins. And D is Mike O'Brien and Nick Stagliano.
I'm going to say B.
100 points. Okay, it's back to Billy. Billy, what were the call letters of the radio station at the Herkimer Youth Center? A, Wally. B, WLFH. C, WHYC. D, WHER.
That's a tough one, but I'll say A.
Wally? That's wrong. Okay, so it now passes on to Kathy. Kathy for 75 points. Is it B, C, or D?
C.
B?
No.
C. WHYC.
That's correct. So Kathy gets 75 points. Okay, this is now Connie's first choice. Wait, who was the first one on that one?
Billy.
Oh, so Kathy is on now.
Yep.
What was the name of the former, what was the former name of L.W. Bill's school?
North School.
Who was, is that Kathy?
It's
No,
Connie.
Connie.
Oh, Connie. Oh, is that,
Yeah.
whose question was this?
It was supposed to
Mine.
be Kathy's, but Connie took it, so Kathy goes next.
But I
Oh.
knew that one.
Okay, I'll give it to Connie. Okay,
Sorry.
now Kathy. Okay, Kathy, who was the editor of The Magician?
Ronnie Siegel, B.
B? That's correct. Who was that, Kathy?
Yes.
Okay,
Larry, the gray box is still coming up again.
on the upper right,
Yes.
I'm gonna get rid of it completely. Is it gone now?
No. Okay,
No?
now it's on.
Okay. Now is it gone?
Yes.
Okay. What operetta was presented by the Herkimer High School Mixed Choir in our senior year? And this is Billy, I think now.
Yes.
A, What a Life.
I say D.
D, HMS Pinafore. There you go. Okay. Okay, now, this would be Kathy. Kathy, who was the mayor of Herkimer in 1960, who later became a U.S. congressman?
D. Donald Mitchell.
Correct. Okay, this would be Connie's question. In what year was the 150th anniversary of the founding of Herkimer? A, 1957, B, 1970, C, 1960, or D, 1942?
I'm just guessing A.
Good guess. Okay, and this, okay, now it's Billy. What was the name of the woman's specialty clothing store owned by the mother of one of our classmates? And the options are Chico's, Munger's, Rudy's, or the Vogue.
I say the Vogue, D.
Good guess. And now, did we finish 10? 1, 2, 3, 4,
That should
5,
be 10 right there.
8. Was that it?
Oh, let's see, 375, is that 375? Yeah, that would be 10.
1, 2, 1, 2. Whoop, whoop. Well, then we are 10.
Yep.
So we're done. Is that correct?
Yes.
So we have a winner. And why don't we do the last two to see who the runner-up is? Okay? So this is between Billy and Connie. And the question is, why is that coming up? Okay, here it is. Billy, when was Herkimer High School founded? 1925, 1899, 1915, or 1800?
This is a guess, 1925.
Okay, so now for 75 points, Connie.
1915.
Wow. So we still have a tie. I don't think we can guess between two last numbers. Do we go to the last question?
Yeah.
1899 was the answer. Okay. Which of the following years had the largest graduating class of Herkimer High School? Who wants to take this?
Connie goes first this time, Larry.
Connie? Okay.
I'm going to say it was us, 1960.
There you go. Okay, so Kathy is our winner. Connie is our runner-up. Very close, very close. It says you won because it put this.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay.
Hey, Larry,
Yes,
I knew that answer.
you did?
Yeah, but you didn't ask me.
I know. Now, the big prize is the first one. So, and who won it?
Kathy.
I did.
Kathy. Kathy wins 2 tickets to a Buffalo Bills game
Yay.
in Buffalo. Not this season, obviously, but next season, 2021. And to make arrangements for what game you're going to be able to go to, you're going to contact, actually, Jim Myers is going to contact you.
Okay.
So there we are. So you can all.
Congratulations, Kathy.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jim.
You will enjoy. Hopefully, you'll be able to come to it.
Hopefully. I am in Texas now. Do they play the Cowboys anymore?
They might. They might. We don't have the schedule until April of next year.
Okay, we'll see.
And hopefully,
you can ride up on the
will
team
be
plane.
I'm sure.
We'll make arrangements for that.
That's right.
Thanks, Larry.
Okay, so now what we're going to do now, we're going to have a session after this next segment, but we're going to do the second section of the video. Hi, this is Yaakov Hammer. I'm joining you this evening from Israel, and I think the hardest thing I've done in 60 years is record a 2-minute selfie. Subsequent to graduating from college, I lived and traveled in Spain for a year, and then I served in the Dominican Republic as a member of the United States Peace Corps for 2 years, where I met my wife, who was also a Peace Corps volunteer. When we returned to the United States, we lived in Atlanta, Georgia for a few years during the Civil Rights era and the War on Poverty, and I had the opportunity to travel extensively throughout the southern part of the United States. We also lived in Washington, D.C. for over 50 years, and the last 3 of which I spent in our local federal penitentiary as a volunteer chaplain. I could go on forever about Herkimer and all the special days. I know I don't have time. You don't have time. But I really want you to know that not a day goes by that I don't think about Herkimer or speak about Herkimer. It was an unbelievable place to grow up. We had such wonderful teachers, such wonderful parents, and wonderful classmates. I'm really thankful I had that opportunity.
Hi, 1960 classmates. Barb Higler here. Selfies are not my thing, so this will be quick, but I wanted to stop by and say hi to everybody and thank you for participating in our virtual 60th reunion. I know I won't get to talk with everybody during the breakout sessions, but I look forward to getting the photos from the session And I know it'll bring back lots of fond memories of our time together. Those were very different years than what we're experiencing now, and we were a whole lot younger then too. Anyway, I'm alive and well here in Maryland. I have lived here since 1967. Luckily, all my children, my 3 children, live within 40 minutes. So it's been a joy to participate in my grandchildren's growing up, and some of those are still growing up. Anyway, my contact information is on the class list. Please feel free to call or send an email if you feel like reaching out. I'd be delighted to talk with any of you again. In fact, I'm looking forward to seeing you again when we have our actual reunion. But in the meantime, I send you a big virtual hug and pray that God will bless us all with peace, good health, good times, safe travels, and much joy and happiness. So, till I see you again, cheers.
I have many fond memories of our classmates. I especially remember our senior year, in which our class seemed to have bonded even closer than before. One of my loves at that point in time was playing sports. I was fortunate enough, because Herkimer being a small school, to be able to play on the football, basketball, and baseball team in my senior year. In terms of my career path, I became a lawyer. I've been practicing in the Buffalo area for over 50 years. I'm still active in the practice and hopefully will continue for a number of years to come. Many of my clients were not only good people, but the causes that they had were on the side of the angels. And that has been a very rewarding part of my practice. In my personal life, I was married for over 42 years. I have 3 great kids who have done remarkable things in their lives. In the last 9 years, I've been in a wonderful relationship with a great gal, Carol, and I'm looking forward to the coming reunion. Thank you.
Hi, this is Marcia. I had a recent conversation with Joyce Hall. By choice, she has no email, cell phone, or internet, and therefore will not be joining us tonight. Joyce married our classmate Vernon Clark's brother Ken. They have lived in Maine for the past 20 years, and while they both have had some health issues, they are very happy with the hospital and medical care they receive in Maine. Joyce has a son and daughter and 3 grandchildren. She said she has fond memories of her high school days and hopes that we will be able to send some memorabilia of this reunion to those unable to attend.
Well, I enjoyed everyone that was in the class back then. They were all real nice to me, you know? I like the fact that friends could be really friends back then. You know, when you met somebody or you lived in a small town, you could meet so many friends and you could get close to. I played baseball for a couple years in high school, and then I was on the bowling team in my junior year. We were sectional runners-up, I think, that year. But then I went on to basketball, on the varsity basketball team, you know. When I got out of high school, I was going with a girl and got married real young at 19. Had a son with her. We were married for 9 years. And my son Brian now is the president of Carter's Children's Clothing. And I met Joy, and we've been married for 47 years now. And I was a manager of a loan company in Herkimer Public Loan for 9 years. I was in charge of that. And then I went on to be a manager for Central National Bank in Tangier. And I worked for a gentleman called Leahy's Home Improvement. And I worked for him for 4 years and went out and started my own home improvement business right after that and ran that for 15 years. I had 13 employees. So it's all worked out real well for us. And why we've done so well is we put God first in our lives, you know.
Good afternoon, guys. I'm Paul Janica. I'm still with you. I'm glad to be, although I'm currently residing in a Lutheran home in Clinton. Been here 9 years. After I fell down my cellar stairs. I'm still in fair shape. Able to sit up and take nourishment, as they say, used to say. I don't know if you care to remember that I went to MDCC for some night courses and got a certificate in computer programming back in the day. I never used. But I worked mostly in the stores. Firstly in the Mohawk Mill Bargain Center in Mohawk, which I understand is an indoor flea market nowadays. Then Howland's in Herkimer for 12 years, and then Howland's New Hartford for 12 years. When I got laid off, took the civil service test and got hired by New York State. Was a health aide to the retarded for 9 years. And I went back to Herkimer. Was taking care of my mom, and then I fell and ended up here the year after our 50th reunion. And so far, been pretty happy here. They kept us quite busy until COVID. Now it's a little boring at times, but it's a good place. Happy to be able to talk to you. Stay well.
Hi, this is Marcia. I recently had a conversation with Mary Spadea. She said that she is very happy living in a retirement community in Florida and has good health. She most likely will not be able to join us because her computer is being repaired, but to let you know that she thinks often of her classmates and is in contact with some of them. She said that she has had many fond memories from her high school days and sends her best to everyone.
My name is Connie Engert. I was Connie Warkowski. The best part of my retirement was going down south for the winters. I have 2 children, 6 grandchildren, 4 great-grandchildren, and no more on the way as far as I know.
Hi, this is Marcia Sheldo. It is so great to be with everyone tonight. One of the high school activities I will never forget was the accomplishment of making our senior prom till the end of time come to fruition. Gary King and I were co-chairs. We spent many months and weeks pulling it together with the help of other classmates, of course. Do you remember the stairway that was constructed in the middle of the dance floor meant to symbolize to the end of time? Maybe not, but I do. It took us forever to build that. Can you guess who originally sang Till the End of Time? Yes, you are right if you guessed Perry Como. I expended so much energy on the senior prom and was so tired that I don't remember much of the actual prom night, even including who my date was. So I am retired after 42 years of federal government career in human resources. The best part of retirement is spending lots of time with my granddaughter Kylie, who lives in Ohio. She is a blessing and continues to bring me much joy. Finally, I am most grateful for the fact that my grandparents emigrated from Italy to the United States and that they settled in the Mohawk Valley and specifically Herkimer, New York. I was fortunate to have been surrounded by a large Italian family and all the love and delicious cuisine that came along with that. Their immigration to the United States provided me with a wonderful opportunity to have grown up and be educated in Herkimer with our wonderful classmates of the class of 1960. Thanks for listening and see you at the reunion.
Hi, I'm Sheila Brady Hazelbaker. One of my fun memories from my high school days was being on the hula hooper squad and performing at halftime on the football field at home games. I'm sure we were the fan favorites. Retirement took a turn for my husband John and me when we adopted our infant grandson Nicholas, who turned 4 in August. He keeps us happy and busy. Fortunately, my 4 children, my 5 grandchildren, and my 6 great-grandchildren all live nearby, so Nicholas has a lot of family to love him.
Hi, this is Marcia. I had a telephone conversation with Phil Parks, who is unable to join us tonight. He told a story of how after high school graduation, he boarded a train at the Herkimer train station to take him to Franklin College in Indiana. Quite a haul, don't you think? Phil could not stop talking about Squiggly, his Chinese Shar-Pei dog. Over the years, he has had 5 Shar-Peis because, unfortunately, they only live to be 5 years old. He said Shar-Peis have a wonderful temperament and seldom bark and weigh about 55 pounds. Every day, Phil and Squiggly walk from Phil's home off of Steuben Hill Road down to Milanowski Field, which most of us knew as South Field. That must be at least a 5 or 6 mile round trip. Throughout the year, Phil enjoys doing projects around his home and helps his neighbors with yard work and shoveling snow. He says he is in good health.
Classmates, this is Ed Gilbert. Coming out of high school, I didn't go to college right away. Instead, October 28, 1961, I married a little country girl, Laura Ann Brunette, which was the smartest decision I ever made in my life. Back in 1961, things were a little bit different. A girl was emancipated at 18, a boy had to be 21. So my parents had to sign for us, and both our parents thought we were too young. A little story. My father asked me if Orianne was pregnant. I hunched my shoulders, and the rest is history. I always felt guilty over that. But 13 months after we were married, our first son was born. The first four were in first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade. People said, "Are you Catholic?" I said, "No, sexy Protestant." We took a 5-year rest, had another son. Happiest days of our life, raising those 5 children. It was a struggle, but at 22 years old, I went back to college nights, 17 years, got a couple degrees, and worked out great for my career. Unfortunately, 2 of our sons were killed in 1986, Steve and Craig, by a drunk driver. We also lost a grandson, Kevin, in a fire. We now have 8 living grandchildren, 12 great-grandchildren. Don't know how much longer God has for us, but I'll try to live by that song of Toby Keith, inspired by Clint Eastwood, "Don't Let the Old Man In." God bless you all. Hope to see you next year.
Hi there, this is Carolyn Springer. I was happy to speak to Mary Crisino Fowler by phone a while back. Mary does not have a computer, so she will not be joining us. Mary lives in Ilion, our old football rival, near her daughter and one of her 2 sons, which is a joy for her. She talked fondly of her best friend, Bella Cherry, who is married to our classmate, Louis Maida. Our classmates and Mary's close friend, Donna Dowling, brought Mary to our 50th reunion, and she attended all 3 days. Donna is content in her lovely home, enjoying visits from her family, and enjoying her hobbies, puzzles, coloring, and shopping online.
Hello, everyone. Class of 1960. You're the first class who graduated from the then new high school. I'm happy that you called on me for your 60th class reunion, and I'm happy that you've joined me in the Social Security collecting age, but you probably are all too young to require Social Security or want to get it. So you're still probably very active in your life, and I wish you the best to continue on to many years. I'm going to be 90 in November, so I don't talk too well, and my wife's in my background telling me what to say, but
we all have that problem, Don.
Yeah, you're right. So you just all have a good time, and I wish you all the best of everything, and I wish all of you 90 years or more. Thank you for calling me.
So, thank you for all listening through that and watching that. Just so that you know, I understand there was some noise in the background during that. I'm not sure how much the noise was, but in any event, all of you are going to receive an email probably tomorrow with a complete copy of the entire video, and also a complete copy of the Zoom session. So you'll have the video as a separate, so you can watch the video separately, and then you'll have the Zoom session which will cover the entire Zoom reunion. Moving along.
Larry, do not go to the breakout rooms yet. Let me do something first, okay?
Yep.
I'll let you know when to do it.
Okay, what's that?
Yeah. So, okay, just a couple of things. If you feel like you need to stand up and stretch, go ahead and do it. But I got a message from Angela Salvamini today, and she says, we don't have a working computer right now. I wish I could see our reunion. I want to wish everyone the very best in life. You are always in my heart. Thank you for thinking of me, and God bless you, Angie. So that was very nice. Okay, now we are going to get ready. Larry, do not go to Zoom yet. We're going to have some fun with breakout rooms. So here's the mechanics of how they work. The computer is going to randomly assign us to rooms. There'll be anywhere from probably about 5 to 6 of us in each room. And you're going to get a notice on your screen to join the room when we start it. And you'll be in your breakout room for about 20 minutes. And then you'll get a notice at the end saying, join the main meeting again. And then you just click on that to go back to the main room. Don't forget to click, because you might get left in your breakout room and we won't know it. But if you do have a problem, give Larry a call, or you can use the chat. Larry's number is 315-794-7905 in case anybody needs to call him.
If anyone actually remains in the breakout room, Marcia or I, who was the co-hosts of the session, will be able to remove you from the breakout room, which will put you back in this main room again.
Okay, great, great. Okay, so that's random. We don't know who you're going to be with. So now once you're in the breakout room, this is where the fun begins, where you can find out more about your classmates. It's just going to be, you can talk about anything. We did one breakout session where somebody suggested we just say, where are we living now? And that just got the conversation going. I mean, we couldn't stop talking. There are other ideas, what's important to you, what's going on with you right now. I personally love talking about my favorite food and why. Or the best vacation I've ever taken, or where I might go after COVID on a vacation. Okay, so now here's the next most important thing. Once you get in your breakout rooms, identify someone who will come back and talk to us as a group about what you discussed in your breakout room. It could be one thing, it could be several things. You all decide, but identify somebody who will be the spokesperson so that when you come back, we'll take turns. So the bottom line is just have fun in these rooms. So we get about 20 minutes. Any questions before Larry puts us in our rooms? And before
unmute everybody. Everybody unmute yourselves.
Unmute yourself. Good idea. Yep. We can't do it. Mary Pat, Billy.
Claudio is muted.
Jean Stapleton.
Yeah, there she's back. She's back. Connie is
Rich Collins.
muted. Steve.
Pat, unmute.
Rich,
I will be back.
Rich Collins, unmute.
Pete and Judy, unmute.
Hit the microphone. To unmute, hit the microphone.
Pete and Judy, unmute. And Donna, unmute.
Okay.
Johnson, unmute. Dick Collins, unmute.
Cast unmute.
Little microphone. Just click on the
unmute.
Hit the little microphone is what you have to do.
You or what? What am I on?
It's the microphone. There you go, Barb. You got it. Judy Clark, same thing.
Yeah.
Judy Dimbleby.
Dick Collins, you're still not unmuted.
Send the microphone, Dick.
It's the little
Find the little microphone and touch it. There you go.
So
There
is
you go.
everybody unmuted now? Let's see.
What's that?
Yep, I think, oh, Mary Pat's still not unmuted.
Yeah.
Mary Pat.
It's right there.
Okay, so now the computer is going to decide who's going to be in what rooms. We have, what, 33 people? We'll put up to 6 people in a room.
No,
No?
fewer.
Fewer? Okay, 5 people in a room.
Compromise.
Okay, we're going to put 5 people in a room. Are we ready? Mary Pat, you're not, unmute, Mary Pat.
Pete and Judy are getting out.
Why?
Said he had to run.
Their anniversary.
We're gonna have 6 rooms. 5 to 6 people per room. I could do 7 rooms. 4 to 6 people, there we go. 7 rooms, here we go. Ready? Make sure you're unmuted.
Don't forget to get in your room once you
I
get.
unmuted.
Yes.
Okay, here we go. Go.
Okay, join the room.
Where do I click to join?
Just click
Click
on
to
the
join.
blue box.
Join.
Valley Dammer, Valley Cotton, you haven't joined. Mary Pat Mitchell, not joined. I'll go back. Oh, wait, here, who have I got here? Mary Pat? I don't see anybody. I think Valley is joined, so the only one that's left in the main room is Mary Pat. There you go. There you go, Mary Pat. Now hit the join your breakout room. Hit the join button. There you go.
There's Jim Lynch.
Hi, how are you doing, Bonnie?
Good, Jim. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. So
Are we in
I was wondering-
another breakout room or just back in the main screen?
I thought we were supposed to be back in the mainstream, but
Main screen,
I think we are.
Oh, we are.
Yeah.
You have to go up to
Here comes
gallery view if you only see 1 or 2 people. Go up to gallery view in the upper right.
I got it.
there we
We're in
go.
it.
You see everybody.
There.
There we are.
Wait, mute. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Here we go. Judy is muted still. Judy, you're muted.
Judy.
Larry's muted. Of all things, how could Larry be muted?
Oh, good. We got Volley.
Can't be muted.
Doesn't know how
Not
to-
enough.
Am I on now?
Yes.
I've got my granddaughter's computer and I don't know where the buttons are.
Oh, okay,
Billy,
everyone, let's see. The only one, Barb Higler is gotta
I
unmute.
just
Very
I was
fast.
trying to make
Alice,
bring-
Mary Beth,
Billy, unmute.
Like
Donna,
me.
unmute.
That is muted.
I'm not muted.
Cass, unmute.
just wanted to.
Better?
Bruce.
we got almost everyone back. Donna Oliver,
It's a screen.
Mary Pat.
Alice, unmute.
Billy.
Billy, unmute.
Costello,
I was trying to move it.
Donna Oliver, unmute.
Billy, unmute.
Mary Pat, I
Okay.
give up on you.
So,
This-
You have to now, we now need to go room by room.
okay,
I'll be right back.
okay, Marcia, do you want to run this?
Yeah, I'll do it.
Not the best. Okay, I'll move it.
So guys, I think what we'll do is, did you all get a spokesperson? We'll start with room one.
Oh, don't
Yes.
worry. How do we, I only have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I don't see that gallery thing.
Billy,
I don't have it
unmute.
either.
I got 10 people.
Who doesn't see gallery?
I don't see gallery.
Well, it's a button, it looks like a checkerboard.
Yeah.
Is that Marcia?
What?
Marcia Johnson?
Yeah, Marcia.
Marcia
Johnson.
Hi, I didn't see you before.
Yeah, she's.
I had to move the people around.
She's right next to you.
You're gonna have a dead computer when you get home.
Hi, Marcia.
Hi,
Bonnie and Janet.
Unmute. Donna.
Where's Barb Camp?
Okay, so Marcia,
Who's looking for me?
Marcia Sheldo, do you want to run the conversation?
I am. I'm going to mute everybody.
I touched the screen and everything's gone.
Don't mute them. Don't mute them.
No mute them? Okay,
No,
so
leave
we
them
gotta
open and we'll just let the person you call on talk.
All right.
Yeah.
Right. So we're going to now have the representative from breakout room number 1. Tell us something.
How do we know what number?
I know.
Well, I'll tell you who was in that room. Breakout room number 1 was Barb Higler and Ed Gilbert and Volley Dammer and the rest.
Sylvia.
Sylvia Deck and Connie Workowski.
Yeah.
Barbara, you want to be spokesperson?
Oh, dear. Yeah. Although I was more interested in talking than taking notes.
Yeah.
Or listening mostly.
Not a big deal.
All right.
Just
It was,
something.
okay, real quick. It was Ed Gilbert, Connie Workowski, Sylvia Deck, Volley Dammer, and me. And wow, let me see here. Volley did the most of the talking, but we were happy for that. Just kidding, Volley. Anyway, she had an interesting life. She's been out there in Colorado, and she and her husband actually built a log cabin, built it physically, and that they had in the foothills around Fort Collins. And they lived there for a while. Luckily they moved out, I don't know what she said, 2005 or 6, but anyway, in 2012 it actually was part of a forest fire and it burned down. But Volley said that while they were living there, she did actually help establish a fire department, and she was a volunteer fire person up there. So that was interesting.
Interesting.
I
said interesting.
And she won't fly because she's mad at the airlines. So they travel by trailer and camper and such, and stay on the ground. I'm with you with the.
Who is Hannah Dimbleby? Is that Judy?
Yeah, my granddaughter's trying to hook me up to another computer because this is dying.
Okay, good. No problem.
Oh, good.
They're twins. I have one computer's dying, going next one. Okay.
Hey, Barbara, thank you. All right, who's in number 2, Larry?
Number
Pat
2.
Dorito.
Number 2 is Kathy Brennan, Judy Clark Dimbleby, Marsha Johnson, Garrido, and Bob Bruce.
Okay, all right. I was elected to do this after I said I'm not doing this.
You know what?
It's just like in high school, it never works.
I know how you feel.
Thank you, Pat.
Well, let me just say a couple things here. Kathy Brennan has lived in Michigan and in Florida and in Texas. She has 3 children.
Got audio and
I've muted everybody because there's too much background noise. Pat, would you unmute yourself? Okay, there you go. Good.
Okay. Okay, Kathy has 3 children and 5 grandchildren and 3 great-grandchildren. She lives in Texas, and she thinks it's hot in Florida. And Judy Clark. Now, I'm not trying to remember what people said. Judy got married on April Fool's Day. How stupid is that? She has every time on her, when it's her anniversary, they're going April Fools, April Fools. Okay, there we go. She has 3 children and 8 grandchildren. And Bob Bruce, it was in Charlotte, North Carolina. His family is from England and Scotland and the British Isles. He has 3 daughters. He told us a nice amount of information about England and walking around in the Scottish streets, and was very interesting. Marsha Johnson lives near the St. Lawrence. Did I get that right, Marsha? I hope so. She has 3 children and 6 grandchildren and lives in Wyoming. I hope I've got all this right. I mean, I didn't know I was going to be a spokesperson.
That's fine, Pat. You did great. Thank you. Okay, group number 3. Raise your hand or unmute yourself. If you're the spokesperson for group 3, raise your hand. Larry, who was in there? I got to unmute Larry, yourself.
Oh, okay, so it's Barbara Cass, Janet Peruzzi, Mary Pat Mitchell, Sheila Brady, and Steve Tomasco. I'm sorry, that's 5. Oh, that's right, that's 3. Group 3. Go ahead.
All right, who's the spokesperson? Unmute yourself. Janet, are you the spokesperson?
I think everybody can unmute themselves.
No, Larry, it's too noisy. That was the problem.
Oh, okay.
Barbie Cast is our spokes.
Okay, Barb Cast. Can you unmute yourself? Come on, Barb, we did the 50th. You can do this.
Yeah,
Okay.
there you go. Good.
Well, you girls are going to, girls and guys are going to have to remind me of what we talked about. We talked about where we're living and what we're doing in our free time, and the fact that we're not happy with the present situation with COVID, but we're living with it. Sheila talked about her youngest, who was 4 years old, which was fascinating. Certainly a new life for you and your husband, Sheila. Janet talked about, she goes to Florida, as does Bill Tomasco and I do. Can't think what else we talked about, Janet. I'm running short here. Oh, we did talk about, Bill knew quite a bit about Herkimer and how there's been some improvements. It hasn't looked real good for a long time, but Bill says it's looking better and they've got money to do things. The Four Corners in Herkimer were going to be, money was going to be put into that to fix it up. And apparently there are a lot of other projects. Mary Pat talked about being here and family and all of that. That's about all I can think of. Did I forget anything?
Nice job, Barb. Thank you so much. Good seeing you.
Nice to see you all.
Okay, group number 4. Larry, who's in group 4?
Group 4 included Carolyn Springer, Dana Lee, Jim Lynch. That's a small group.
Okay, who's the spokesperson?
I am.
Okay, hi, Dana Lee.
Hi. I didn't have too much to remember with only 3 people. I lucked out. Anyhow, we talked about where we lived, things that we do, places where we've traveled, the virus, of course, children and grandchildren. And Carolyn is in Chicago. Jim is in Florida. I'm in Syracuse. I think I took notes because I said just in case. So I think that's it.
Okay, good, thank you. Who's in 5, Larry?
Group 5 is Barb Cass, Janet Peruzzi, Mary Pat Mitchell.
No, we just did them.
That was 3.
That's 3.
Oh,
5.
I'm sorry. Group 5 is Bonnie and Janet, Claudia Sheldo, Elaine, and Jean Stapleton.
Okay, who's the spokesperson for 5?
Well, who do you think, Marcia?
Of course.
Last minute. That I don't really have any notes, but it was interesting. We had a lot of discussions about what we've done over the past many years. One thing that did surprise me that I didn't realize Bonnie was a trader and has been living in Ilion for 55 years. But however, her daughter lives in the house I grew up in on Washington Street.
Oh my God.
And Elaine, we've talked a little bit about that, where it's close to where my grandparents lived, and asked her if she had been there to see how Herkimer has changed, especially South Washington Street. And she has been. We talked about, the houses that we live close to, that being that right across the street, there was Alice lived, and across the Chaldones, and then Judy Enias and that, and our parents used to always get together there around that area. One thing that was interesting is that we spent some time talking about 9/11 because Janet's daughter was in New York. And I had asked her, I remember before that had happened, I was working on the New York Stock Exchange. And I remember Janet and her daughter had visited. And I took them on a tour of the stock exchange. So we talked about a little bit about that and where we all were at that time. So it was really a great conversation we all had. There was a lot, what everybody is doing. Elaine is down in Florida. Janet, of course, is up in, I think, Little Falls, and I'm in Virginia. So it was a good conversation we all had.
Great, thank you, Claudio, so much. Okay, group 6, I know that's my group, so I'm in it, Dave Nellis, Donna Oliver, and Judy Enia. And the way we're going to work this is Judy and I just had so many reminiscences about Claudio and everybody, so we're not going to talk about that, except the 2 of us were buddies from the time we were 5 years old, and we were Mutt and Jeff. But to get back to Dave Nellis, he's going to give you just a little rundown on the volunteer work he does, and then Donna is going to give us a little vignette of what she did for work with Corning, which you'll find quite interesting. So Dave, do you want to go for it? You got to unmute wherever you are.
There.
That's unfair what you're doing, Marcia. You made all of us have one person.
Well, it's just as well because I can't remember most of what everybody else did. I volunteer at a local museum. It's called the Antique Wireless Museum. And it deals with everything from telegraph right up through space communications. I'm an assistant, I'm going to say curator. I'm not sure that's quite the title, but we are continually processing donations of old radios and other equipment like that. Everybody else that works there is a ham, but I am not. My wife kind of signed me up there to get me out of the house, I think.
All right, thanks, Dave. That's good. Thank you. And Donna, quickly, you want to talk about your work, Donna, at Corning? Donna, well, you know, we keep on losing Donna. I've let her in at least 6 times in this. Hi, Donna, can you unmute?
She's still muted.
There she is. I see her. You have to unmute, Donna.
Okay. Got it?
Yep.
Oh, I don't know where I am, but I said I worked at Corning for 10 years. I did 12-hour shifts, 7 in the morning to 7 at night, and then 7 at night to 7 in the morning. And what I did is we did fiber optics, hot glass, extremely hot glass, and I had to carry it. It's like 25 pounds and put it up into a tower and measure it and cut it up and down ladders for 12 hours. I did that. And I was the smallest person in that plant. They had to make platforms for me to stand on. And OSHA came in and said, what are those platforms for? So the boss took them over to me to take a look at her. So I'm only 4'10". But I did the work. It was hard work, but I did. And I live in North Carolina.
Thanks, Donna. I mean, to me, it was so funny that here she is on platforms and OSHA comes in and says, what are you doing? But they did it anyhow.
What are those platforms all over the place for? You know, I had to put them on rollers. My husband put rollers on them so I could wheel them to the next station.
Okay, we'll go on to group 7, the last group. John, who was in that, Larry?
I'm trying to find that group. Breakout room. Now, group 7?
It's me.
That was Jim Myers, Nick Stagg, Richard Collins, and Yakov.
Correct. One general observation is that the remote computer is not politically correct. Put us all with males, which was okay, I suppose. When I asked them what I should say, one said, tell the truth. The other one says, make something up. So, but we really had a great conversation. We were all over the place. Everything from, I think both Richard Collins and I both purchased engagement rings from Yakov's father. We talked a little bit about how hot it was in Israel and California. We talked about the fact that Richard, who lives out in the country, can go walking any place in this COVID-19. He's not concerned. We talked about Herkimer in terms of it's not being, Herkimer isn't quite what it was when we were there in terms of how well it's doing. We talked a little bit about Nick's, I think, uncle or somebody who was the assistant football coach who had some interesting techniques in terms of motivating the guys.
No.
No?
Not Prof. Stagg. No, he was great.
He was great. It was somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
We won't talk about him. He liked to scrap. He liked to get in there and scrap with the guys, the coach.
All right.
So
it wasn't him. The reason I got nominated is because I was the only one that had a glass of wine in my hand. And they figured it was safer if somehow that I would be able to talk.
So now all of you know that I hopped from room to room during as a host. I was able to do that. And the highlight of my visit to this room, to the room that Jim is in, was that Nick Stagliano produced in the middle of our discussion a wooden coat hanger.
Oh, I was gonna say that.
Yeah, you can hold it up now. A wooden coat hanger from Myers Clothes, which is at Myers Clothing down at the South Main Street, clothes for dad and lad. And what all of you may have known then, but may not remember, is that Nate Myers, who owned that store, was my grandfather and also Jim Myers' grandfather. So,
And I remember my father telling me how Nate Myers started out with a little wagon going around town, I think collecting rags and stuff.
That's right. Exactly.
I mean, that just shows you from the bottom up what you can do in this country. God bless him.
Right. What he had was a blind pony that he bought for, like maybe $50 or something that he took along. The other interesting thing that Richard Collins mentioned that he was double dating a lot of times with Larry.
Now, mind you, this was not with my current wife, but it was with Joni Zajac, who you may remember, who incidentally starred in the musical HMS Pinafore. Incidentally, for which I played in the band.
Can I add one thing, Chair? I have to share one thing. A year to the day from our 50th reunion, I was in Las Vegas.
Yes.
And I ran into a classmate by the name of Richard Collins. Would you believe that?
Yes.
Small world, Las Vegas, with all the people in a casino.
Yeah. I have to add, Larry and Jimmy, my grandfather Sheldo, Claudio's and my grandfather Sheldo, used to say all the time, my best friend, Nate Myers. In his broken English, my best friend, Nate Myers.
Well, Nate was really quite a man, and a poor family would walk into his store needing clothes and would walk out fully clothed and not having spent a penny, because that was just Nate had Grandpa Nate had just a big heart.
Yeah,
wonderful heart.
Speaking Mr. Hammer.
Can I add one other thing?
Too.
My grandfather Sheldo. At our 50th reunion, I saw this picture of my grandfather Sheldo at the Herkimer County Historical Society, and he was the first person in Herkimer County to buy a war bond. And so there's this huge picture of him holding the very first war bond bought in Herkimer County. These are patriots that, that we talk about. And I was just shocked because no one ever talked about it in my family, but there was this photograph of him by the Herkimer Evening Telegram of Grandpa holding this war bond. First one purchased in Herkimer County. Well, you guys did a great job. Thank you. And I think we're on to Jeff Yakov, Hammer in Memoriam. Is that right?
Yes, go ahead.
Jeff, where are you?
He's got to unmute.
Am I unmuted now?
Yes, you are.
Good. I think we've reached that point where it's fitting and proper to remember those of our classmates who are no longer with us, and to remember those intimate moments of friendship, to remember their smiles, to recall their laughter. Everybody tonight has talked about what a wonderful class we had, how they loved everybody. And same obviously goes for those who've passed on before us. So Larry, take it away with the list of people. amazing. I remember each and every person as the name goes by, and I remember what they contributed to my life and making me who I am today.
Great. And so I think we've come to the end of what I will call the formal section of our reunion. As I indicated earlier, we're going to stay on. And those of you that want to continue to stay on and chat and visit.
Larry, what about the alma mater?
I'm going to do that in a second.
Okay.
This is the introduction to the alma mater.
Oh my gosh.
Don't worry, Marcia. Marcia, don't worry.
I'm a worrier.
This is the introduction to the alma mater.
He's gonna.
In any event,
I don't want to.
we're going to stay on. We're going to stay
I don't know, because they're trying to finish it up.
I'll stay till
We gotta
midnight.
sing the alma mater, then you can stay on, and if Jeff stays
That's right.
on.
Hey, Bonnie, mute
other thing-
yourself.
The only other thing I do want to say, first of all, I want to thank all of you for joining us tonight. It was just a wonderful crowd of classmates, and it's brought back so many memories and has made this every bit of what I had anticipated that it could be. During the practice sessions, we had a number of conversations, and several people in the practice session said, you know, we don't have to stop after the night of the reunion. We can continue to have some Zoom sessions afterwards where all of us get together. And I think that's a good idea. And so our committee is going to talk about that, maybe having some dates in the future, 1 or 2 months from now, where we would send notices to everybody, and whoever feels like joining and getting together and chatting, we can do that. But this has been a wonderful kickoff to that. And as I think it was Claudio said, we hope that next year we can all have an actual physical reunion in Herkimer. And having said all that, it's time for us to actually, wait a second.
Larry?
Yeah?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
It's Bonnie. Janet wanted to speak with Yakov before he signs off. I don't know if he's going to stay on or not, but she'd like to say something to him. Can we do that?
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
There you go.
Hi, Yakov. It's Janet Gagler. I just wanted to tell you, your family, your mom and dad were the most wonderful people. And they were very good to my mom. And I just want you to know, I think of them often, and you.
Thank you. I want you to know the last reunion I was at, when I walked through the door, you gave me a hug. It literally floated to the ceiling. I remembered that. And if I could have said what I would like to get out of this evening, it would be that same sensation of just being with people who are really my family. And
exactly.
Your hug represented that to me. And I really remember your mom and your dad. So thank you for telling me about my parents.
Thanks, Larry.
Thank you. Thanks, Larry.
That's great. And before we start dispersing, and I might as well say this before the alma mater, we have had what I would say is just an amazing reunion committee. We started meeting in May when this idea, or it may have been in April when this idea kind of floated to the surface. And we've met practically since the beginning of June, every single Thursday afternoon. We've had Zoom sessions. Carolyn Springer and Marcia and Yakov and Ed Gilbert and Jim Myers and who did I miss? What?
Bonnie.
Eddie Gilbert. What? And Bonnie O'Brien. I'm looking at the names on the screen and my eyes are going around the screen. But it's just been a great committee and it's been wonderful working with all of them. And I think we all owe a great debt of gratitude to all of those the members of this committee, because they really have done a fantastic job.
I personally want to thank Larry. Let me assure you of one member, that man worked his butt off to do all this.
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did.
He did.
There's
Thank
no,
you, Larry.
Two thumbs up,
Thank
Larry.
you, Larry.
there is no
Thank you,
question.
You're welcome.
There's
And
no
I'm
question
delighted, incidentally, that we were able to get Gene Stapleton to join us on very short notice, incidentally, and that we were able to get Don Jafune to give us a video, or not a video, but a statement at the end of the second part of the video. All of you will be getting two links to the videos and a separate link to the entire reunion session right up to the end. And now, having said that, now we're all going to use our best voices, and let's sing the alma mater.
I didn't remember it until now.
Cloudy, it is peaceful rain. There's a dear old and so there is a
Play ball.
It means so much more now than it did in high school, I think.
I think it does.